Hello, everybody. Hey now, and welcome back to the Her Hoop Stats podcast. I am Christy Winter-Scott, joined by my sister from another Mr. Cindy Brunson right here.
Woo!
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm doing great. A little mini break, a little bit of a WNBA All-Star break, very brief, but needed. A little recalibration for the soul, and you got to have that sometimes, right? But hey, man, it's going to be a gauntlet of a second half of the WNBA season. We got our W gear on. I mean, the synergy of that is really great, I have to say. Fashion.
Oh, yeah. That's just you and me being on the same page. That's always what happens.
Fair. Okay.
We are not new to this. We are true to this.
True to it. Drop the whole mic on it. Drop the whole mic.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a lot of movement, a lot of moving and shaking in terms of the rankings, my friend. What do you foresee coming up? And not just, sorry, I hit the thing there. There we go. Not just for the playoff race, because I think it's a little early for that, because there's going to be so much fluidity and wins, losses, and health and other variables. What do you foresee, though, in the next couple of weeks, though, as teams are trying to gain some traction and momentum headed to the end point?
Nothing is a given. The teams at the bottom are so dangerous. Even Connecticut can get teams. So the 13th team is not a give me. And then everybody above that, from 9 to 12, so dangerous. And they just get better by the dribble. We see Los Angeles making changes on the coaching staff. Latricia Trammell is there to bring her defensive mindset to go with Lynn Roberts' beautiful offense. And we saw the high scoring from the Sparks in their first game back from the break. And that was without Cam Brink, who is almost ready to come back. So, oh my goodness gracious. De'Erica Hamby just flexed like, remember, I'm an all-star. Hello, I know how to do this. So a very dangerous Los Angeles team. I'm also looking at Dallas. I know Skylar Diggins did not play for Seattle, and that is a massive loss, especially when you consider that she did something that nobody had done in WNBA history all-star-wise, and that's record a triple-double in the all-star game. Yay, Sky.
You were talking about Skylar Diggins?
Oh, yeah.
For Seattle?
Oh, sorry. I was saying that I get that Dallas beat Seattle, and you kind of have to put an asterisk with that because Skylar Diggins was not available. And shout out to Sky coming through with the WNBA historic moment of the first triple-double in All-Star game history. So freaking awesome. You know, when your game is as good as your fashion, like, listen. So, but it speaks to Dallas getting better as well, figuring it out. Arike was on fire. Paige is such an efficient compliment. Shout out to P5 for tying Caitlin Clark for first to 300 points, 100 assists in the fastest way possible. So I just look at the teams and Chicago. I mean, Angel Reese is still the only player in the WNBA averaging a double-double. So when Chicago takes the floor, if it's not against New York or Minnesota, they got a shot, a legit shot. And then Washington, youngest team in the league, as you know, so entertaining, and they fight so hard. And I love the teaching and growing that you can see by the dribble with the Mystics. So there's just no gimmies. I'm circling Phoenix right now, and AT, the MVP candidate, as I will refer to her always on her Hoop Stats pod. She's still leading the league in assists. And I saw a stat on the socials the other day that her assist or shot making contributes to nearly 25% of the Phoenix offensive output. Like, that's massive. So she is literally the engine, as we know. And it's going to be critical to see how she plays. Not in their first game back from the break, which is a home game against the Dream, but then they go on the road for 5, including a date at the Liberty, which I will be at Barclays Center on July 25th, the Friday night. That's a gauntlet, and it's a big, big test to see what Phoenix really is made of. They could just kind of been under the radar, even though they've been a top 4 team. So I'm very curious to see if they can maintain that here in the second half.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's tap into Dallas really quickly. I know you were talking about Arike Gumwale. I mean, she's coming off of a 20-point performance
Mhm.
in the last game against Seattle and kind of fueled that victory. And
Yep.
what do you see that kind of gave her that fluidity, I guess, in her offensive production? And not that she was struggling per se, but I think there is kind of a grace period when you have a player like Paige Beckers in the
Mhm.
system and trying to read and react off of what Paige is doing so very well, right? So,
Right.
how do you think she has acclimated herself to the skill set of Paige
Mm.
Becker, and especially in that Seattle game when she went for the 20?
Right. I think it was very helpful to finally have Dejanay Carrington back from injury because a familiar face on the floor, right? We know how it's supposed to flow and supposed to look. And then I think the addition of Lee Yaru, I think Arike needed time to understand the offense with a big who rim runs and can shoot the three, right? Like it
Yeah,
totally changes from what Tierra McCowan can do. And it
true.
just takes time.
Yeah,
Chemistry does not build overnight. And Arike is very cognizant of Paige, right? She doesn't want to step on Paige's toes. She wants her offensive, firepower to be going
absolutely.
at all cylinders. And so I think Arike was just being the true veteran that she is and was just trying to sit back, learn the machinations, and then slide in. And I think the break gave her an opportunity to go, okay, this is how it can work for me.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
again, helpful that a great defender in Skylar Diggins was not on the other side of the floor. But
right.
I think we got to see, all right, this is how Dallas is going to cook moving forward. And I really do think the key component to that, in addition to Rookie of the Year leading candidate Paige Beckers, is the addition of Lee Yuru.
Yeah. PB5, that's what I call her. PB with the stick.
Yes. That
PB.
kid is so fun
Hey,
to watch in person. I saw her in person for the first time a couple weeks ago in
oh,
Dallas.
yeah.
And she was so silky, Christy.
She's
Just, I didn't even think she was sweating. Like it was just effortless looking and just so smart already as a rookie and, playing the point guard position, recognizing time and score, always looking at the shot clock, things that you're screaming at veterans who've been in the league for 10 years, like, hello, can you not see the clock or whatever? But you just don't do it with Paige. It's all sorted. And I
right.
just love that for her. And she's just scratching the surface.
That's the scary part. Yeah,
Yeah.
scary hour for Paige Beckers for sure, in a good way, because
Yes.
I saw her play AAU basketball. I saw her, covered her in college at UConn several times over. I saw her through the struggles of
Yes.
not being healthy, right?
Right.
And fueled her to a national championship last year. I mean, just the full journey and the story for Paige
Yeah.
Beckers is inspiring to say the least. But you're right. I mean, it's an effortless performance by her, night in, night out, as a
Mhm.
rookie,
Yeah.
impacting the game in a myriad of ways. So don't
Yeah.
get me started on her. I will
Well,
stand
and
up.
the efficiency, right? Doesn't turn the basketball over.
No,
Takes the great shot, not the good shot.
that's
Makes the
true.
great pass, not just the good one.
Yep.
It's just metrics wise, as a numbers nerd, in addition to wanting to watch beautiful basketball, she checks all of the boxes.
No doubt, no doubt. And let's go to the West Coast where you are. I mean, you're here
Yes.
on the West Coast, though. The LA Sparks.
Yes.
Listen, they were
Yes.
obviously just in DC. Had
Hmm.
my eyes and ears on them, and they just played out there last week against the Mystics
Right.
um, in LA. So with the addition of Coach Trammell, and you were talking
Mhm.
about her defensive philosophy and all of the prowess that she wants to bring on that side of the ball,
Right.
what do you see as the biggest challenge for that lineup to get that side right? Because you know we were talking yesterday with coaches for the Sparks before the game, and they were
Mhm.
saying, what, we're in the top five of a lot of statistical categories, but we're
Yep.
in the bottom three in the defensive statistical categories that we don't want to be bottom three in. So
Right.
what do you think the biggest change for LA will be, what with the personnel? How do you see Coach Trammell coming in and kind of refining that side of the court for them?
Well, I go back to a couple of years ago with the Wings when they made the playoffs and the ability for Satu to switch in multiple ways defensively. And I think Coach Trammell is looking at Rakia Jackson and eventually Cameron Brink to do that switching, that they can go big and small, and then
Yeah.
you're never out of position for a rebound as well. So it's just a little bit of a tweak, and I think it's just going to prove so beneficial for Los Angeles because the offensive piece is there.
Yeah.
KP is one things. They look so fluid on offense. It just rarely bogs down. They rarely get to the end of a shot clock. There's a lot of movement. It's really pretty. A lot of threes. I've been very impressed by Sarah her Barker Blakely. Help me.
Parker from
Thank
Alabama.
you. Yes, yes, out of Alabama.
Yeah.
Um, so, because I had never seen her play in college, I just kind of missed a memo. I remember her catching fire in the tournament, and I saw one game, but I really wasn't like paying attention, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So,
Focus on
to watch her and how she's adapting
right.
defensively, because with rookies, that's the last piece that kind of settles in.
Right.
So when she's understanding where she needs to be on the floor defensively. Because I noticed in the first half, KP was pointing and telling her where to go. And
Right.
I didn't see that much against the Mystics in the first game after the break. So I think that defensive piece is going to settle in beautifully, which makes Los Angeles super dangerous moving forward. Ray Burrell healthy, Rakia Jackson healthy,
Yeah.
Cam Brink coming back. The weapons upon weapons upon weapons, especially at stretch 3, 4, 5.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, what a matchup nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, they're huge across the board. I mean, seeing them in person, I was like, okay, outside of KP, everybody else is like 6 foot and higher. Like,
Right?
to
Yeah.
be, that's so tough for opponents to match with, right? And the fact
Yes.
that Azare Stevens is 6'6" out there, like handling it like this and pulling up for.
Yes.
And I'm like,
Yes.
you're six
Yeah,
six,
yeah.
like you're a unicorn.
Yes.
Ray Bell is like her first step is like a lightning bolt, and she's
Yep.
healthy.
Yep.
She had 7 weeks with that leg injury, and then back 5, 6 games into it, and
Yep.
she has not missed a beat. And then, oh my God, can we just talk about Rakia and
Yes.
look like? I mean, talk about seeing a player in person and like leaning back and clutching pearls. She
Mhm.
has been phenomenal in terms of her impact. And they were talking about her prior to the game, and the coaches were talking about her, and they were saying, hey, listen, we're just trying to find ways to best utilize her skill set. And
Mhm.
my, like, it's 5 out or 4 out, one in. They get
Yeah.
those spray outs. They don't have a lot of mid range attacks, but I tell you what, their cup attack is nuts. Their spray out threes, crazy because all of them can knock them in.
Yeah.
They're just threatening all over the place. And then when you hard close out on them, they're going to rip and go and attack the cup. So they're counting on you to try to run them off the line. They almost want you
Yep.
to run them off the line.
Yeah.
Derek is a full head of steam going down. And just one last thing about LA, because I was talking to my daughter about this last night on the
Yeah.
way home from the game, because when you see Dearica Hamby out there just playing with a power packed punch on both
Mhm.
sides, like her motor is always on 1,000,
Yep.
which you cannot measure. Okay. But it was her defense. There was 12 seconds left. They were up 10 over Washington, 12 seconds left in the game, 12.9 to be exact. Anyway, there was a fast break situation. Sonia Citron got a steal or something. She's going down. Anybody else, maybe, all right, you got that. Like, okay, go ahead. She
Yeah.
went down there, Cindy, and blocked that thing so hard. And then what made it more intriguing for me was after the game, she had her babies in the gym. She's holding her daughter's hand. She had her son on her hip. Her
Aw.
son nuzzled into her neck. And I'm like, was this the same woman who was just
Yeah.
her blocking that last shot? So for me, it's like, it's the gentleness of motherhood that was beautiful, but
Mhm.
also the fierceness of this competitor and this
Yeah.
pro that was so amazing to me on levels I can't even begin to explain. So that to me
Yeah.
rising. As a mom too, I was just like, I understood it, but at the same time, to see it full on real time was a beautiful thing.
That's mama bear energy, and I love it. And I want Los Angeles to keep having success because, to your point about Azurá Stevens, whose numbers are completely off the charts compared to the rest of her career before this season,
Yes.
she is most improved in my book, hands down. It's not even close.
She's right there. She's right there. And I know,
Mhm.
with what she has said about this year, she just said, I'm just being myself. And there's
Yeah.
just so much beauty in that. There's so much, genuine love in that. Like the
Mhm.
self love that she's giving herself is exuding from her play, and the freedom of that as well. I just think it's been fun to watch her this year evolve into the player that she knows that she can be, and
Mhm.
we've known too. But to
Yes.
stamp
Yeah.
that, hammer that down,
Yeah.
it's really fun. And I love when players, I don't care what level, what gender, whatever, when players get to that part of their game, the
Mhm.
full maturation is one thing, but the mental and competitive maturation is another. But to see
Yeah.
that Azure, I think has really been fun to watch this season for sure. And most improved, I think she's definitely up for that.
Right?
Yeah.
Woohoo!
For sure. And then, with Chicago, you're talking about Angel Reese, the only player
Mhm.
in the WNBA to average a double double. Let's delve into them for a moment here
Sure.
and what it's going to take for them to get over that hump, right? They're very competitive. They are tough to guard and all of the things. But
Mhm.
what is the if there's one thing, and maybe there are two or three, but if there's one specific thing that Chicago needs to focus in on in the second half of the season, what would that be?
Just complete shot making.
Oh,
They
okay.
have a lot of misses,
Right.
just in the mid-range, sometimes from 3, where other teams are just shooting the basketball better. And
Yes.
that's what it comes down to because they're D'ing up and they have a little bit of defensive slippage. You see a lot of easy twos from the opposition from them. Now it's tough when they keep playing the links and you're just like, okay, if he's going to eat or whatever. But
Mhm.
when somebody else like Connecticut is slipping backdoor on that can't happen.
Right.
So I think they just need to shore up defensively a little bit. They got to keep Ariel Atkins on the floor. She has to score a lot of points for them.
Yeah.
And then I think they got to keep using Rachel Banham in a variety of ways. She has proven she can run the point. We know she can shoot the leather off the basketball from 3, but she's also got a fantastic mid-range game. Let
Mhm.
her pick and roll. Let her pick and pop. Like I think that's an underutilized tool that they have, and
Right.
then keep that post to post thing building with Camila Cardozo and Angel. I just think it is unstoppable when the two of them get on the same page.
Yeah. Skyscrapers for a reason. Listen,
Mhm, mhm.
them coming. First of all, but when you're looking at the second half of the season and the top three teams, let's just
Yes.
investigate what it's going to take for those three teams to stay there. What do Minnesota, New York, and Phoenix need to do to stay at the top of the mountain in the league?
Well, I think New York is sorted, right? Emma Mieseman is on the way.
Okay,
Goodness gracious.
playoff.
I can't help but think if this had been Las Vegas that signed her, there would be some sort of investigation or, like, how can you add? And they signed Stephanie Talbot too. I mean, the rich just keep getting richer
Yeah,
as the defending champs.
yeah,
So as soon as they figure out how to put all the pieces together, just based on the roster, I'm not worried about New York at all.
yeah.
Minnesota has proven since it has defended home court so beautifully in the first part of this WNBA season that they too are going to be right there at the end of the day. I'm
Okay,
still waiting to see how Phoenix handles this tough road trip that they have coming up. They've got Atlanta at home to open post All Star, and then they're on the road for 5, starting
okay.
at New York. And it is just a daunting road trip. And they split their last 2 road games.
They did.
So, yeah, so I'm very curious to see how that works. And then how they utilize DeWanna Bonner. I think that's going to be critical for
Right.
Phoenix to maintain the 3 spot, I think DB has to be more involved because she's such a unicorn herself. I know Satu is there, but the way DB can defend 4 positions on the floor, no problem. I
Right.
think defense is going to help Phoenix down the road. And then you got to hope that the point guard is not tired, right? She hasn't played at this level for this long, Akoa Makani. So I'm going to keep an eye on that, right? Because with fatigue, then the turnovers go up and things like that.
Right.
Um, and it's a lot. It's a lot of pressure, and we look for these things to form, right? We don't expect excellence out of the gate.
Right.
The Liberty were a build. We've seen them build to this.
Yeah.
Minnesota has been a build. We've seen it. And we haven't seen Phoenix develop the scar tissue yet, right? They just exploded onto the conversation. Not that they don't belong there, but you have to have some sort of pelts on the wall to make you hungry to prove this, that, you know what I mean? You just don't arrive and cut down nets. That's just not the way the WNBA works. Just like Indiana, I expect them to improve. If Caitlin Clark gets and stays healthy and continues to improve metric wise, the turnovers are down a smidge from a season ago, which is great. If that arc continues, they're going to be formidable because they have proven how well they play without Caitlin on the floor. So that's another team that I look to move up the standings just because Kelsey Mitchell. I mean, my goodness, night in and night out. I look at the box score and she is consistently the best player on the floor.
Yeah.
Consistently.
Her hoop
And
game is
for my money, Christy, Indiana owes her 2 all-star bids. Because when she first got there, mismanagement around in the front office, they gave her no help, little to no help. And she still put up numbers similar to what she's putting up today.
Yeah.
She ate, she left no crumbs, and they owe her 2 all-star bids. Yes, yes.
She was. I mean, her hoop game is unmatched. I mean, she is lethal. She's a lefty, but she's going to go and do what she wants and take everything that she needs. And she's a toughie, mentally and physically. And you love to see that from her. But sticking with Indy, I know the All-Star break was there and everything like that. But before we delve into the All-Star festivities and stud buds at all, because we will talk about that because it was hilarious and great. But with Caitlin Clark, what's your take on, and I know it's tough, and I don't know if I'm asking for your take or maybe just what you see from the physical ailments that she has had to incur so far this season. Right leg, left leg, same kind of soft tissue situation. And I heard Lisa Leslie say over the All-Star break, I heard her say something about how she had a similar injury that she still feels to this day, 20 years after she competed in the league. And when she's playing tennis, she's like, oh, I still feel a little twinge, or I still feel a little motion there from previous injuries that are very similar to what Caitlin Clark has gone through. What's your take on that? I mean, she looked physically more fit coming into the year. Like she was already like very athletic and got what she wanted, slithering her way around the court because of her soccer background and her vision and her angles that she attacks the game with. But what do you think is happening right now because of these soft tissue injuries that she's getting here?
Well, I can only look at this through the lens of other athletes I've covered. And I'll start with Diana Taurasi. Diana Taurasi spent as much time preparing her body for the game as she did playing in the game.
Right.
So if I were in Caitlin Clark's camp, I would find the best physio I could that worked with stretching, because Tosh Cloud said she came to the arena before she won the skills competition, and it was all about stretching and getting ready. And I just can't help but think, because of this soft tissue deal, like ACL, you can't help. You move one way, your body moves the other, and then you're on the operating table. That just happened. But soft tissue, in my experience covering, women's basketball for the last 2 decades,
Right.
has always come down to, is your body ready to do what you're going to ask it to do? And you have to prepare and get
Exactly.
everything as warm as possible. So I defer to the GOAT. Diana had
Mhm.
a few soft tissue injuries, but nothing that like ended her season or kept her out for weeks on end. And I think that was because of just stretching and doing a variety of different stretching techniques, whether it's yoga or Pilates, what have you, just to make sure your musculature is ready. Because I think, to your point, Caitlin came into the season in tip top shape. She looked great. The arms were cut. There's
Mhm.
never been an issue with her legs. I don't know if you've seen her quads up close, but it
Yeah.
looks like somebody cut an apple in half and then plopped it right above her kneecap. And I was aware of that when I saw it because I've had my left knee reconstructed 3 times, and doctors always told me, every orthopedist, if your quad isn't strong, your knees are crap. So I'm always fixated on quads, and I was blown away by Caitlin when I saw her in person. I was like, that's what Thor's quads look like. Oh my gosh, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be my advice to her because,
Yeah.
I want her on the floor. I want everybody on the floor. Like I hated that Dejanay was out for so long.
Mhm.
I hate injuries, period.
Yeah.
But I'm wanting to see, as a fan of this league, what Indiana looks like at full capacity. And
Right.
Caitlin's gonna be on the floor for that to happen.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it was totally disappointing when she was injured, right before the All-Star game. And
Yeah.
you have to respect the fact that she needs to be healthy, as you said. And to your point, I know the fans are like, hey, go out there and play. It's in your hometown. The All-Star game, you have signage all over the JW
Yeah.
Marriott
Yeah.
downtown, huge posters everywhere you look, with her face on it. And I get it. And it should have been like that, healthy
Mhm.
or not, right? And I know, I mean, it was soul crushing, right, for her, I'm sure, not to
And
be
to
able.
her absolute credit, Christy, she was a fantastic ambassador.
She was
Like,
a
she did
winner.
all of the things. And I know that had to be gutting for her to not be able to participate in the game or in the 3-point
Yeah,
competition.
yeah,
Um, and to
yeah,
her credit, she kept it together. She handled it better than I would have. I would have been all in my feelings and
yeah.
eyes and wet all weekend long, like
Hoodie up,
a blubber and a shaky lip and the whole thing.
yeah,
Like, yeah,
no,
yeah,
hoodie up, glasses on, like,
yeah, yeah.
making around town. Like, no, like, her her ability to just kind of compartmentalize that. I mean, just
Mhm.
knowing her competitive makeup and
Yeah.
the passion, obviously, that she plays with and loves the game with. I know that was incredibly difficult for her not to be over there. And then every time they went over to her face, you could see the wheels and the fire burning behind her eyes,
Oh,
right?
sure. Sure.
And I'm sure she missed being out there and participating in every way, not just the skills thing in the 3-point contest, but in the game with
Mhm.
all of her WNBA sisters. Um,
Yes.
so just to stay in that moment, healthy or not, kudos to
Yeah.
her. I know that was incredibly difficult.
Oh, for
Um,
sure. But what I loved, and I hope everybody saw and paid attention, and we can finally put this other players are jealous business to bed.
um,
Nobody in the WNBA is jealous of Caitlin Clark. The sisterhood that was on display between CC and everybody else, I hope just quashes that crazy narrative that other players are jealous. That it's just ridiculous and it needs to stop.
Yeah, it does, and I don't like that at all. And you could see that with your eyes, right?
Yes.
You don't even need to hear any verbiage about that notion, Cindy, because
Right.
for me it was Sabrina Ionescu winning the 3-point shooting contest and splitting her earnings with the rookie Sonia Citron, right?
Oh, I love that.
One who, first of
Yeah.
all, who that Sabrina, but
Yeah.
it was a beautiful thing. I mean, it was all that was like a microcosm of all the love that we saw all weekend in
Yes.
Indianapolis, the All-Star game. And the other half of the earnings she put to her own foundation. So
Mhm.
it's like she won the contest, but she's like, here, and handed it over. And
Yes.
we're on to the next thing. And for Sabrina to be that selfless and be an ambassador for that kind of reach
Mhm.
back and that kind of
And
yeah,
did
thank you.
all that while proving she's not a shooter, she's a maker. 11 straight. I was just like, I'm
Yeah,
counting. I'm like, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, cook, baby,
yeah.
cook. It was so entertaining. I just was so thrilled for her because I know the original list of participants. I know Caitlin would have had her fan base behind her, but there was something about the 3-point contest with Sabrina and what she's done with Steph to elevate that
Oh,
competition.
that.
I
How about
just wanted her to wear the crown, period.
yeah, yeah, talk about that because that's the real story behind it. I mean, the fact that she, statistically did what she did, but I think emotionally, the fact
Yeah,
that she modeled that
yeah,
part of basketball and that part of sisterhood, teamwork,
yep.
WNBA sisterhood, all of the things that you want to hand over to the next generation, and not just the rookies, but the collegiate players saw that. The high school and middle
Mhm,
school players, the summer campers
yep,
were in camp probably saw that, this is the way it should be done. All right, you don't
yes.
owe me anything. I know rookies, you're gonna come in and there's gonna be a little, this is how the league is, the hard screen
Yes,
that
yep,
Grind said on Sonia. I mean, she helped her up and everything like that. But there's just a welcome to the WNBA in a physical way, but there's also a welcome to the WNBA in an emotional way. And I think that was just a beautiful example of what that means and
mhm,
how vitally important that is for generations behind who's playing
yes.
league right now. I think it's so great to have that as the example of the love that is here. So welcome to the W.
And credit to Sabrina and Caitlin
Yeah.
because they did not participate in the festivities in Phoenix just a year ago
Right.
because the Affleck money came in at the last minute. So
Oh,
they stood on business and
I did.
said, "You're not gonna benefit from me for $2,500. That's not gonna happen."
I didn't know that. Why?
Yeah, yeah. The payday wasn't where it needed to be. And then by the time they got it together, remember all of that was announced like 3 days before people started arriving in Phoenix.
Right.
So Aflac did come in and came super correct,
Mhm.
but it was a little too late for Caitlin and Sabrina to say yes. And then I just thought those women really did right by everybody else coming behind them.
Oh,
Because even though they didn't compete, Alicia Gray got that bag,
she
the
did.
money was there, and
Yes.
then now it's there. And then hopefully with the CBA upcoming, the prize money won't have to be sponsored, it will come from the contract.
Yeah. How about that? And we'll get into that too. But I gotta talk about Natasha Cloud, man. Cloud 9. Cloudy. That's what I used to call her when she was here in DC. Cloudy with the chance.
Heck yeah.
She
Heck
was,
yeah.
and I'm just so proud of her, number one. So, Tasha, if you're watching, man, I was just, her smile was
Oh,
just everything. And not just when she was the winner of the skills competition, but all weekend long. Every time you saw Natasha Cloud, she was beaming. What
yes.
your take on where Natasha Cloud is right now in her career in New
Mhm.
York, but
Yeah.
also with where she is as a human being? Like she's just resonating joy everywhere
Yeah.
she goes.
Well, I tell you what, everybody was looking for the liberty to have like a letdown, right? Championship,
Right.
first in franchise history, on top of the world. Oh, they got to let down. No way was Tosh Cloud going to let them miss a beat in their drive to repeat. Period. Full stop. Like she is the energizer bunny and
Yeah.
wants everybody to succeed. And
Yeah.
I remember seeing on the socials, I got a text from a friend while I was driving, and I literally pulled my car over, got
Oh.
out, and did a dance for Tosh. I was so excited that she was no longer in Connecticut, on her way to New York after Phoenix. Honestly, in my opinion, did her dirty. Like they said they were going to build around her and
Oh.
then, had her in a promotional video for the facilities. And then she finds out on social she's not a member of the Mercury anymore. I'm like, no.
That's how she
So, yes, yeah, to see
is.
her land this beautifully, I couldn't be happy for her. And then when she said she was going to use that prize money to put a down payment on a house for her and Izzy,
Yeah.
I melted. I
One
just, because I have experience with those guys from Athletes Unlimited. Izzy, I was here on her rookie draft day here in Phoenix.
yeah.
She hates when I post the picture because her glam game wasn't quite as good as it is now. But she was so precious and still
Yeah.
is, but just right out of Tennessee, so doughy eyed and everything. So
Yeah.
I followed her career, and then the relationship with Tosh, from Athletes Unlimited. And I'm just so excited. Tosh embodies what is so amazing about this league, which I think speaks to the bigger picture of she's also going to stand on business, right? She
Always.
knows what this league is worth because she has been one of the foundational pieces
Mhm.
in the recent explosion. And for me, the build really started when her career started a decade ago. Like
Yeah.
that's when the switch kind of flipped. More people started paying attention. The shot making got better. The competition got better. And I can't wait to hear what she has to say. That's the voice I'm going to listen to when it comes to these CBA talks, in addition to Neko Gumake, the WNBA PA president, and Satu Sabali, who has no filter and will tell you exactly what it is, which I absolutely love. And Tosh. Those are the three that I will be listening to as we get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, just sticking with Tosh, I mean, just the fact that she's been able to, regardless of what else is going on, she
Mhm.
was able to lock in and stay focused in that moment and bring it on home in the skills contest. I was just so thrilled for her. And not just for winning that, but the way that she did it, right?
Yeah.
With the joy and resilience and the passion that she brings to the game. I think
Mhm.
that was really the reward more than the prize money to build the house for she and Izzy, but it was the way in which she approached it. She said,
Yeah.
I know everybody was out hanging out, but I needed to get my rest. I was at home, I was at the hotel,
Mhm.
like chilling out, zenning out, vibing out, whatever. But I knew that I wanted to come into this and approach it like I want to win it.
Yeah.
And she on it, right? So it was the approach of it all. It was, yes, this is a fun environment and everybody's here, and there's so many parties and things to go to. But guess
Mhm.
what? I'm clink clink. I'm locked in, and I'm not going to do that tonight. Like afterwards, I'll do it after I win. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't it or not, but I mean, she had her priorities straight, man, and I
Yeah.
think you got to respect that and in the way that she has approached everything. So it's just really fun to see her. I mean, from her time, and she started at Maryland before she went to St. Joe's
Right.
for a year, and then went back closer to home in Philly to go to
Yeah.
St. Joe's and was amazing there. And then spent her entire pro career here in DC. So I've seen her grow up. So to me, it's like this full, throttle of
Yeah.
who Tosh has become, and I think it's just been a beautiful thing to witness for me personally. So
Yeah.
I just had,
Oh, no, I'm right there with you. I loved having her in Phoenix last season. The only jarring part for me was she wasn't wearing jersey number 9. So it
oh
just never quite felt right, you know?
yeah,
She asked, I think she, was told by management that she would get that jersey number. For whatever reason, it didn't come to pass, and they wanted me to call her Agent Zero, and I was like, "That's Jackie Young." I can't.
yes, but that's also Gil.
She's cloud 9, period, full stop. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's also Gil. So that's it's like
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, but I get it. 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 But
yeah.
okay, the festivities at the All
Yes.
Star game, and let's just talk about the Stud Buds, man. Because first of
Ooh,
all, did you did you watch them on Twitch at all?
of
They were on
course. Of course. Did I
hours.
have Twitch before? No, ma'am. Did I have to Google how to download it? Yes. But I got on because I was seeing the clips on Instagram. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so unfiltered. And I mean, people were literally watching an empty hotel room. Like they, they wanted to see what might go down so badly. And I thought it was amazing. And I love that for Courtney Williams, for Natisha Heidemann. Clearly, their friendship is beyond true blue. Like those young women love one another, and it's just, and they want to have fun, right? They just want to have a good time.
Yeah.
They're, in the prime of their life, and they want to share that with everybody. So yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just appreciated the genuineness and the vulnerability of them showing who they are as
Yeah,
real people. And I think there's so much freedom in that. So when you see other people doing it, right, then it
yeah,
gives you freedom and not necessarily permission because you're going to do it regardless. I think so anyway. But it kind of frees you up to not really caring what other people say, right? And that's
100%.
great space to be in, and I can attest to that. Like, I'm
Yeah,
just going to do what I need to do. I'm not worried about what you're going to say or if you're going to label me in some way or try to categorize me um, in from your perspective because that's for you. My
yeah,
perspective on me is for me, and there's so much freedom and love in that, and I just appreciate it. And I respect that, especially for women. Like we need to see more of that for us,
yes,
for them to be themselves.
yeah,
I think was the beauty in all 72 hours of that.
yeah. Even Minnesota head coach Cheryl Reeve commented, "Look how far we've come. This wouldn't have been a thing 10 years ago."
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, I love that. I
It,
absolutely love it. And it
it,
just exemplifies what makes the WNBA so freaking awesome. It's why we love it. We
yeah,
love the players
yeah,
and their stories and their humanity, their humility, their hubris, all of it. We just
yeah.
soup to nuts. And it's not just a team or a player. It's
Right.
all what, nearly 160 players now? Like it's everybody, all the coaches, all the storylines, all the growth, everything.
Yeah.
It just doesn't come down to one issue or one player. And I think that was what Stud Buds exemplified, just the sense of community that
Yes.
the players have with their teams and their teammates and organizations, and then in turn with the fans. And not
Yes.
just the fans in their cities, but across the country and around the world.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I did get on there on Twitch and I was watching, I think it was right before the red carpet,
Uh-huh.
that night. And
Yeah.
I laughed so hard, man, because it's not only um Tish and it wasn't just Courtney that you were seeing, but you were seeing how they interacted with everyone else in the league, which I
Yeah.
thought was hilarious and sweet. But they were like, "You look the bleep good," was the over the edge from Courtney, man. And it was so funny, but just the way she was like, "You look the good,"
Yeah.
and
Yep.
it was so funny to me. But it was all that, backstage love, all the
Mhm.
behind the scenes and the underbelly, right, of the
Yes.
sisterhood and how they interact with one another. I thought that was a mesmerizing piece of it all. But also how Cheryl Reeve was, dancing and everything like that, and how Kathy Engelbert was dancing, and how Cheryl was AI. First of all, it wasn't me, and
Right.
know how
Yeah.
that works and whatever. But I just the deflection, of that was really funny too. But that just makes it so much more entertaining and fun and funny and beautiful. I just thought it was really fun, and we were talking about Dearica Hamby and the double edged sword of it all too. Like be fierce,
Mhm.
but you can also be gentle and have your
Yes.
baby nuzzled into your neck,
Mhm.
which I missed by the way. But anyway, but just to see like the double edged sword of that,
Yeah.
the way they can just operate as just consummate pros in everything that they choose to do,
Mhm.
right? Um,
Yes.
Sunbuds, you were consummate pros in that because you were yourselves and everyone saw it, for what it was, and it was awesome. But then you're out there hooping, and that was
Mhm.
too, right? And then you
Yeah.
come behind the scenes and you're hugging on loved ones, and that's awesome too because you're a consummate pro in that. So it's like hundreds across the board. So it's five
Mhm.
stars, right? For
Yeah.
every there's just levels and layers to what the WNBA means and all the personification of what that is was
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
display. It was on full display, and it was just
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah,
And
gay pride,
yeah,
black excellence, like all of it.
all
And
of it.
it's one-stop shopping, right? When
All of
you are a WNBA fan, you get
it.
it's like a full meal deal. You don't have to shop nowhere else. It
Nope.
is so amazing.
Right there. Oh, it was awesome. And I know, you were talking about the CBA, and there were
Yeah.
conversations over the weekend because everyone again was one stop shop. Everybody was in the same city.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of conversations that from the players' perspective didn't quite go as well as they would have liked initially, and
Mm,
still more massaging to do, more conversations to be had.
yeah.
But the T-shirts, Cindy, when they came out on the All-Star game night, and both teams pulled off their warm-up shirts, and underneath had that shirt on that said
Mhm.
what Rihanna said, "Pay me my money," pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
But
Pay us what you owe us. Period.
yeah,
Yeah.
what's your take on how they collectively did that, and what message do you think that sent from wearing it and showing that not
Listen.
to everyone in the arena that also chimed in their own way, and you can speak
Mhm.
to that, but what do you think was the overall take?
It just shows you the power of these very intelligent and extremely well coordinated women getting together and on the same page. We have seen this league literally flip the US Senate by getting behind a candidate and ousting a bad faith owner in the WNBA. When
Yeah,
it comes to activism, there should be classes taught on how the WNBA does it because it is always a chef's kiss and it is always unified. They put things to vote, they have conversations, they get on the same page together before they present.
right.
And when I tell you that presentation shook people, oh my goodness, my phone lit up like a Christmas tree. I thought there was a major incident somewhere in the world that I was supposed to know about, but it was people talking about that shirt. Oh, how dare they ask for more money? Like, how dare you say they shouldn't have more money?
Right.
Everybody is eating. Why can't the people responsible for the product eat
Right.
as well?
Mm,
Period. And when I say the players deserve, let's have a conversation about everybody associated with the league. People who cover the league should not be telling me, oh, well, when I have one of my other two jobs to pay the bills, and then I'll go to cover the league and write this article. That has to stop. Those jobs have to pay living salaries. Christy, I know you have been in this business a long time. I've been doing play by play for a decade. I can tell you in the 13 years since I've left ESPN, I've had one play by play payday that matched what I made as an ESPN anchor.
wow. Wow.
One.
I can
That's
I
a long time.
same for me.
So everything associated with the WNBA needs to level up, how
Yeah.
it's covered, how people are paid, how they are treated outside of the players and the organizations.
Right.
In addition, these folks who are saying there's no money or oh, I saw an article in the New York Times where the league lost 40 to $50 million last year. Well, who put that out? The people who don't really want to write a big check, the owners. Of course they're going to cry poor. Come on, we've seen this. How many lockouts have there been in the NBA? 4. I remember the one in '99 super specifically because I had just started at ESPN, and
Right.
everybody behind the scenes was like, "Isn't this great? It's a 50-game season. Every game matters. I love this."
Uh,
So,
that's yeah.
but the players were like, we see the new TV deal. We
Right.
see what is happening with ownership and how these billionaires operate in space. They're not in this to lose money. So their argument that they're losing money doesn't hold water. It just does not.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, the WNBA PA has to get the owners to open the books because all of a sudden, in just a 2-year span, we have seen a buy in for this league at $50 million for the Valkyries and is now $250 million for Cleveland, Philadelphia, and Detroit. I mean, come on. And you're going to tell me that these billionaires writing these checks are wanting to be a part of a losing endeavor? No, I'm not buying that for 1 nanosecond.
Yeah.
Pay the players.
Mm.
They are the product and they are worth it.
And they are what?
They are worth it.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
are worth every penny that they are asking for.
Yeah.
I don't want players to have to go overseas to make money. I saw Diana Taurasi do it. She became a multimillionaire doing it. Brittany Griner, Kalani Brown has made some great coin over there. I don't want the players to have to leave the United States to get what they're worth. If a team in Russia can pay a WNBA player $1 million, why can't she make good coin here in the States?
Mm. I mean, that is a solid point, and I just think that there's so much more to discuss, and
Mm,
they will have meetings moving forward just to get that notion heard, right? And
yes.
a lot of the players said that they didn't feel heard
Yep.
in those meetings, and we weren't in there, so I can't speak to the points that were being made there or felt that they didn't hear them saying these points. So for
Mhm.
me, on the outside looking in, you
Right.
see what the issue is, and now we need to solve the issue, and now we need to have the issue heard, and then we need to go ahead and have some resolutions and
Yes.
some movement in that way. So without being privy to the note takers in the meeting and being in that room where it was all going down. I just think, like we were talking about, for the future generations that will
Yeah.
compete in this league, and this is for them. Like the players who are currently playing in the league right now, they might not feel the fruits of this labor that they
Right.
are going through. But I tell you what, it's going to have reverberations in
Mhm.
levels we don't yet know.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's
Listen.
why the fight needs to be fierce, and that's
Yes.
why voices need to be heard.
Yes. To your point, everybody's gonna be a free agent except for Lexi Brown and Kalani Brown. I don't know what it is with the Brown last name, but they're the only 2 that have a contract that extends beyond 2025.
Here, yeah,
So, everybody else wants to have the best opportunity to make money.
right,
A. B, the league is now in a position to take care of its foundational pieces.
yeah,
There
yeah,
is not a health care plan in place for players who, back in the day, we're talking Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops, the 4 Pete Houston Comets, all of those folks have to find insurance elsewhere. Former NBA players are taken care of by the NBA. Now the
wow,
WNBA has a wonderful opportunity to take care of the folks whose shoulders they are standing on. And
wow,
I'm hoping that gets sorted as well.
yeah, wow. I did not know that about the NBA players having health insurance cover them after they're retired. Is what you're
Mhm.
saying? Wow,
Yes.
wow, wow! What a blessing that is for
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
and definitely for our women, we need that, right?
Right.
I did not know that. I did not know. See, I'm taking mental notes right now. I very
I'm
great.
always all about everybody, and I can never look to the future without remembering and being thankful and grateful for the past.
Yeah, no
And
doubt.
we're not at this level excitement heading into next season, which will be 30 years of the league without those foundational pieces. And they're
Right.
getting older and they're running into health difficulties. And this is a great opportunity to help them. And it doesn't have to be an exorbitant plan. We don't need to make them rich like Kardashians or whatever, but just to know that if they need a medical procedure or if they can't afford to do their mammogram or whatever it is, that is taken care of, that they have help in that fashion to complement Medicare, Medicaid, whatever, because everything seems to be getting gutted and going away. So I just want those options out there.
No, that's an awesome point. That's an awesome point, and I think that definitely needs to be heard, and hopefully, again, finding a resolution for issues like that for
Yeah.
our pros. And you said it very eloquently and profoundly about the shoulders that this league currently stands on. needs to be cared for and given grace because of what they were through back in the beginning. So, man, God, that just took me somewhere totally. But that was beautiful. But yeah, that has to be the fight. But I think putting a oh yeah, come here. What's up, B Mac?
So I had to find a reason to come on and be a part of this greatness.
I
I want to
love
be
it.
Because
a
you got
tribute.
the matching shirt.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. So, so I do have some actual information for you. Talking about what you guys are discussing currently.
Okay.
Today is the actual 100 days left of the current CBA. Today is the 100-day mark.
Wow.
Countdown is on.
Oh boy, 100 days, B Mac. That's more pressure than I was ready for today. But you know, pressure is a privilege, I guess they say. So we just got to figure out a way to figure it out real time and in an expeditious way here. What do you think on that, B Mac? What do you think it's going to take?
Somebody's going to have to give, and I don't think the players are, and I don't think they should.
And they shouldn't, right? I mean, they've got to stand on, and like what we were saying, it's not just about their current situation; it's for the ones coming behind them, right?
Yes.
It's the ones they're reaching back for, and you know, these collegiate players, you know, they have stars in their eyes because of how they've been able to establish this league over their career as a pro, and the high school players are looking at the collegiate players now in the same way, right? So there are waves of impact that this 100-day mark here is going to make. It's not just about the current and present time. It's about time and the next time after that.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that Kathy Engelbert and her side of the table understand the business forces that they are facing opposite them. These are all college graduates with advanced degrees for the most part, because they've stayed and got those or went back to school to attain them.
Right.
And they are all entrepreneurial business women in their own right. They all are associated with foundations. They've started their own media companies. They have started their own fashion lines. These are people that understand the nuts and bolts of working with tax attorneys on the regular. They know what a balance sheet looks like. And to think that you can go into a meeting and pull the wool over these eyes, that is just bad business. I mean, come on. We're all grown. We've seen the numbers from the new TV media rights deal. Those are the numbers that fuel the high contracts that we see in other sports, whether it's Major League Baseball or the NFL or the NBA. And don't get me started on the whole, oh, well, the WNBA loses money. Guess what? The NFL used to lose money. So did the NBA. So did the NHL, until they got to a point where the media deal met them where they are, which is the watershed moment we have now in the W. And then everybody started making money as an enterprise. There's no loss on the ledger looking forward for the WNBA when it comes to bookkeeping. And this is a great time. And I don't think that Kathy Engelbert and her group understand how ready the players are to just say no and lock out. And then what do? You sacrifice all of this amazing momentum, all of this incredible goodwill and excitement with 2 new franchises coming on play in Toronto and Portland. And guess what? The expansion draft is supposed to happen in December. So we're 100 days away, right? So that puts us into October. So there's really no wiggle room if you want to have that expansion draft on time. And the last time we had a lockout in the WNBA, pushed things back a couple of weeks. They postponed the draft. It didn't happen right after the college championship. The play started a couple weeks late. This was back in the early 2000s. So not that much was missed. But again, that was a smaller schedule. Fewer teams. So the impetus for the people with the power currently with the league and Kathy Engelbert as commissioner and the face of it, they need to understand the math right away. Everything we built is up for sacrifice because the players are going to stand on business 10 toes down.
Yeah. And I really hope and pray there's not a lockout, and not just, selfishly because I'm a fan, number one, on everything else. But
Yeah.
I hope that there could be, like you said, BMAC, a meeting in the middle of it all. And Kathy Engelbert, I don't know. I can't speak for her because I haven't asked her this, so I'm not just doing this as an assumption.
Mhm.
But I will say that I would hope that there is an ear and an understanding of not only what the players are saying and asking for, and all of the things, but I hope there's an
Mhm.
understanding on the investors side too, and all the people involved, not just Kathy, but everyone
Yeah.
involved,
Yeah.
and the teams coming in, and that there's a one accord that all parties can be on at the same time, at the same level, with the same respect. Now, the checks and balances part, that's on the decision makers, and I
Yeah.
hope it can. There has to be wiggle room available or made available for this league to ride this groundswell of respect that we are currently on. So for me, as that person on the
Mhm.
that soapbox, I will stand 10 toes down on that. That my hope is that everyone can be on one accord to continue this momentum for the generations coming behind the current league and the
Mhm.
players in the league currently. I think that's the most important thing for me. So whatever it is, whether whoever it is, all parties involved need to understand the importance of keeping things going. And I know the threat of a lockout is daunting, and I don't like that because I like to problem solve. I don't like to problem speak. So the
Right.
problem speak is being done. Like, now can we problem solve? We know what the issues are. All right. Can we get on that pottery circle and get that thing and then bake it and then get it together, and then now we can paint it with the next generation of players who could come in and continue the beauty of what this league has stood on for all these years.
Yeah. I will say previous lockouts in other sports, including the WNBA, have worked. It's been effective. You never not see resolution once play stops or play is threatened or interrupted. We've
I,
seen shortened seasons in the NBA, in Major League Baseball, in the NHL. It's been all over the place.
yeah,
So um, there's a lot of power, leverage wise, for the players. And I think for the first time in a very long time, and I want to see them maximize that leverage.
yeah,
They've earned it. They are the product. There's no excitement without the players on the floor. They
no doubt.
are the product. And now that the product is finally receiving its deserved promotion, popularity has exploded. So you've got to serve your product. If your
Yeah.
product isn't served, nobody wins. There's nothing to watch. There's nothing to get excited about. Like we've got to get this right.
Yeah. And to that point, Cindy, it's like, for me, I understand what you're saying, and how lockouts have worked in the past. And,
Mhm.
I understand it, but I don't like it. Like many things in life, I understand it, but I don't like it. I think I get
Listen,
it.
I have one wish. I wish both sides can walk away satisfied. And then I want to put on top of that, when Nneka Ogwumike is done with her playing career, which I know she's got several years ahead of her if she wants to take them, I want her to be the next WNBA commissioner because
Wow.
I think it is going to be so important moving forward,
Yeah.
especially as we get to 18 teams and all of the good stuff that is on the horizon, that
Right.
a former player is on that side of the table.
I like that. Yeah. I mean, you never know. I mean, she's playing at an level again. And
I know.
uh,
I'm saying
26.
a few years down the road, I'm not asking for, 2026. I'm just saying in her future, because the leadership skill set that she has had on display since she was at Stanford, I think is needed on the business side. And I think the entire league and everybody would benefit from a strong voice like that,
Yeah.
who's gets to look at the books. how the sausage is made, where are these complaints coming from? How does this all come together? And I can't think of a better person to orchestrate that, just based on how she was such a fantastic leader when the teams were in the bubble and they got a deal done during that last CBA negotiation. I think NECA would just be an outstanding WNBA commissioner.
Yeah. Wow. That's a huge statement. And I know a lot of people maybe right along with that note and years to come. Years down the
down the road. She's got plenty of runway. Doesn't have to do it tomorrow. I just want to plant that seed, put it out in the ether. Like, let's speak this into happening. I think she would be amazing.
Yeah, I like that. Like for future reference, because we love watching that.
If she wants to do it, she may run for president. Like, she can do whatever she wants. She's amazing. But that's just kind of what I see.
Yeah, she's doing the thing, right? Doing everything. I love it for her. It's all hoops all the time from all three of us. But it's always all love every time from all three of us to all of you out there. I appreciate you guys for listening in, and we'll be back next time right here on the Her Hoop Stats podcast with BMAX, Cindy, myself, Christy Renner Scott. You next time.